Hola, I'm Darkis and welcome to my studio. On today's video, I'm gonna be using the TriTone color pencils. And this is not a sponsor video, I'm just doing this video because I bought this at a discount a long time ago and I just wanted to try them out. The paper I'm using is the Strathmore Art Again and the color is coal black. I'll put on the description all the art materials I'm using today. On this video, I'm gonna be doing a drawing sketch of a Torii. I start out doing a super rough sketch using the Volcano color. Here am I balling where the center should be and I just continue adjusting it as I see necessary. Also, if you're new to my channel and you haven't checked out my Mount Fuji video, make sure to check it out. I'll put a link above and also at the end of the video. Whenever I'm working with pencils, I usually try to deposit the color as softly and lightly as possible because I've noticed that whenever I try to put too much pressure, then it's harder for me to deposit the color onto the paper. So I talked about the meaning of the Torii in my Mount Fuji video, but I figure I'll talk about it again on this video in case you haven't watched that one. So what is a torii? A torii is a traditional Japanese gate usually found at the entrance or within a Shinto shrine, where it symbolizes the entrance to the sacred. The first documented torii dates back to the mid-Heian period in 922. And since we're talking about sacred places, I thought I would give you some tips and ideas as to how to create a sacred place in your home. I'm very fortunate to have an extra room that I can dedicate for my art studio / woman cave, but I know that that's not the case for some people. So some of the other rooms that you can use around your house are either the garage or a shed, and even if you don't have that, if you live in a small apartment, you could use the corner of your house and use that as your getaway space. Once you decide on your perfect place, then you want to decorate it with plants and flowers or artwork that inspires you. One thing I have to admit though is that I'm not very good with plants because sometimes I travel for weeks at a time. And I don't have anyone to water them, so they do die on me. So instead of having real plants, I just have fake plants. But still, it's better than not having anything. I also have soft music on the background because this helps me with creativity. And the last tip is that I try to keep it as organized as I can. And by organized, I don't necessarily mean OCD or spotless. What I'm talking about is that you keep them organized enough that it's easy for you to find things. Now, I know that these are not groundbreaking tips, but for the longest time I didn't even think about having a place in my home where I could just sit and create or be productive. So at the very least, I hope that this gives you some things to think about. Going back to the TriTone, I don't know if it was because of the paper I used, but I was having a hard time depositing color onto the paper, so I ended up having to use a Derwent Color Soft for the red and the blue. To give the TriTone a fair review, I'm gonna use it in a couple of more drawings, and I'm also gonna use it on different papers to see if that makes a difference. For the highlights on this drawing, I used yellow and orange for the Torii, and for the water I used white. And before I forget, make sure you go back and watch my giveaway announcement video because I have a special surprise there at the end. Towards the end of the drawing, I ended up using a combination of Derwent, TriTone, and General's charcoal. Here I'm using the TriTone's flame, and here I'm using the Marigold. To make adjustments and straighten out my lines, I use black. Here I'm just adding some finishing touches with red and yellow. And here is the finished drawing. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, sub and share. If you'd like to be notified every time I post a video, make sure to hit the bell. So were you able to guess what the next paintings are gonna be about? If so, put your comments below. And don't forget that it's okay to start ugly.